Okay, let's dive deep. This is the deep dive, where we take source material articles, research, notes you send us, and really pull out the key insights for you.
Exactly. We want to give you that shortcut, cut through the noise, and hopefully spark a few aha moments about what's important.
And today, we're getting into a pretty detailed market analysis. It's focused on the global niobium alloy market.
Right, and this deep dive is based specifically on excerpts from a report by DataString Consulting. They've done the legwork here.
So our mission today, get you, our listener, quickly up to speed on what matters in this niobium alloy market, look at where it's heading, and basically unpack what these experts at DataString found.
Let's get straight into it. Niobium alloy.
Yeah, it sounds, well, specific. Why is this material and this market worth this deep dive, according to the report?
Well, what makes niobium alloy stand out right from the start is its unique mix of properties. DataString's report highlights outstanding heat resistance and strength.
Okay, high performance expected for advanced materials.
Yes, but crucially, it's also remarkably lightweight. And that combination is powerful.
Lightweight, strong, and heat resistant. Okay, yeah, that does sound like a big deal.
It really is. The report calls these properties game changers. It frames niobium alloy as a material that's, actively revolutionizing industries.
Revolutionizing? How so?
By paving the way for advancements that maybe weren't feasible before. Think about building things that need to withstand tough conditions, but without adding lots of weight. Big engineering implications.
Right, points straight to aerospace, maybe automotive, high-tech stuff, so it's making a real impact. What does DataString say about the market size?
DataString Consulting estimates the market starting point for 2024 at about $278.3 million.
Okay, $278 million. And where's it going? Is it steady, or are we looking at significant growth?
Oh, it's definitely showing explosive growth potential, according to their analysis. The report projects it reaching $886.6 million by 2030.
Wow, hold on. That's almost tripling in just 6 years?
Exactly. A really steep climb. And they look even further out, suggesting it could grow to around $2.3 billion by 2035.
$2.3 billion. That implies a very, very healthy growth rate over the next decade.
It does. DataString projects the compound annual growth rate, the BLE-ANGR, for the main forecast period 2025 to 2034 at 21.3%.
21% CAGR. That's incredibly strong for any market, let alone one starting near $300 million. So what's fueling this? What's behind such rapid expansion?
The report connects it directly to niobium alloy's increasing use, particularly in energy and advanced technology sectors.
Okay, so specific high-growth areas needing its properties.
Precisely. The demand from those sectors is significant. And DataString's analysis suggests this isn't just a blip, it's setting the stage for major expansion for manufacturers, suppliers, everyone involved.
So let's break that down. Where exactly is this demand coming from? How does the DataString report segment the market?
They break it down quite clearly to give structure. They look at end-use industry, the specific product type, the manufacturing process used, and the application.
Okay, let's start with industries. Where's niobium alloy making the biggest splash right now?
The key end-use segments they identified are aerospace, automotive, nuclear, and also electron microscopy.
Interesting mix.
And a key finding for 2024 was that aerospace and automotive together held the largest market share.
Makes sense. Lightweight, strong materials are crucial there, especially with electric vehicles and fuel efficiency driving automotive needs.
Exactly. And the report goes deeper, looking at specific types of niobium alloy.
Like different formulations.
Yes, things like niobium titanium, niobium zirconium, and niobium tin alloys. And here's a strategic insight they pulled out. The automotive sector is specifically gaining ground with niobium zirconium and niobium tin types.
Ah, so not just any niobium alloy, but specific types tailored for automotive needs. That's useful detail.
It suggests certain formulations have properties really hitting the mark for emerging car tech.
And does the report show regional variations in which types are growing?
It does. DataString points to Asia-Pacific and North America as the region set to lead growth, specifically in that niobium zirconium segment, particularly between 2025 and 2030.
Okay, so specific alloys, specific regions driving growth. What about the actual applications? Beyond the broad industry, how is it being used day to day?
The report lists key applications like superconducting magnets, beam steering components, medical equipment, particle accelerators. Quite high-tech uses.
Medical equipment stands out there. Why is it used in medicine?
That's a really interesting point DataString highlights. It's because niobium alloys show excellent biocompatibility. They work well with living tissues, and they're highly resistant to rust or corrosion.
So ideal for Implants, medical devices.
Exactly. And DataString sees this application area as having really significant growth potential.
We also touched on tech giants earlier. How are they involved?
Right. The report mentions companies like Samsung, Apple, Sony leveraging niobium alloy, especially for its superconducting properties in advanced electronics.
Superconductivity. Okay, so we have a picture. The material, the growth, the industries, types, applications. Let's talk dynamics. What forces are really pushing this market forward, and what's holding it back, according to DataString?
Okay, this gets into the core market dynamics.
Yeah.
The drivers, the restraints, the opportunities that DataString Consulting identified.
Let's start positive. What are the main drivers? The tailwinds.
The report flags 3 key ones. First, rapid urbanization.
Urbanization. How does that connect?
Well, significant progress in building structures, especially in emerging economies, boosts demand for really durable materials. Niobium alloys fit the bill for structural integrity and corrosion prevention in advanced construction.
Infrastructure needing better materials.
Yeah.
Got it. What's driver number 2?
Development in superalloys. This is crucial. Aerospace, industrial gas turbines, other demanding sectors. They have a growing need for materials that can handle extreme heat, corrosion, wear, and tear. Niobium is a key ingredient in many advanced superalloys.
So demand for the end product, the superalloy, drives demand for niobium. Makes sense. And the third?
The third circles back to what we just discussed. Its use in medical equipment. DataString lists this as a direct driver because its biocompatibility and rust resistance make it so valuable. Increasing use in medical tech pushes the whole market.
Okay, powerful drivers. What about the brakes? What are the major challenges or restraints DataString found?
The big one highlighted is high production costs, and tied closely to that is the limited availability of the raw material.
Limited availability. Is niobium rare?
It's not super abundant, and critically, its reserves are highly concentrated geographically. The report points mainly to Brazil and Canada.
So supply depends heavily on just a couple of places.
Exactly, and that concentration leads to challenges with price volatility, potential supply chain disruptions. It's a significant risk factor.
That makes perfect sense. A concentrated source means a fragile supply chain. Does the report call out specific opportunities beyond just echoing the drivers?
It does emphasize the potential in expanding the use of niobium alloys within superalloy applications and really capitalizing on that growing demand in medical equipment.
Yeah.
So reinforcing those key growth avenues as major opportunities.
And did DataString mention broader, like geopolitical or economic factors?
Yes, they briefly touch on what they call market bending factors, or M4 factors. These are things like geographical conflicts, ongoing trade wars, currency devaluation, external shocks that can ripple through the market unpredictably.
Right, the bigger picture context. Okay, let's shift perspective again to the global map. Where is this market most active? Which regions are key, according to DataString's report?
Their analysis covers the main global regions: North America, Europe, Asia-Pacific, Latin America, and the Middle East and Africa. They also pinpoint specific major markets by country.
Which countries are those?
They list the U.S., China, Germany, Japan, and Brazil as major players currently.
And are there any emerging markets they flag as ones to watch for future growth?
Yes. The report specifically mentions Vietnam, Nigeria, Colombia, Israel, and Spain as emerging markets with potential.
Interesting list. Any specific regional insights they shared? What's happening in North America or Europe, for instance?
DataString notes that North America has seen solid growth, largely thanks to its strong aerospace industry and general tech advancements. Key players there are investing heavily in R&D.
Okay, innovation driving demand. Europe.
Europe is highlighted for its big automotive and aerospace sectors too. They note fierce competition there, plus government-backed initiatives in areas like space research and nuclear power, both of which can use niobium alloys.
And didn't we mention a specific product type linked to regions earlier?
Yes, absolutely. The report reemphasizes that Asia, Pacific, and North America are expected to lead the charge in growth for the niobium zirconium product type, specifically between 2025 and 2030.
Got it. Any country-level detail within North America?
They do mention that while the U.S. is currently the largest market in North America, Canada is projected to show a higher CAGR, a faster growth rate, during the forecast period, perhaps linked to its raw material position.
Fascinating. So growth varies a lot by industry, by region, even by the specific alloy type. Now, who are the companies navigating all this? What does DataString say about the competitive landscape?
Their report includes a competitive analysis section. They look at market share, though we don't have specific percentages here, but they also delve into the strategies different companies are using.
And do those strategies differ based on the sector they serve?
Yes, DataString breaks this down quite well. For companies focused on aviation and aerospace, the strategy often centers on rigorous material testing for safety, securing reliable sources of high-quality niobium, and having a highly skilled workforce. It's about precision and reliability.
Okay. What about the tech companies using its superconducting properties?
For technology and electronics giants, the focus is more on innovation and efficiency. Strategies revolve around leveraging those unique properties to create cutting-edge components, differentiate their products.
And for the energy sector, oil, gas, nuclear.
There, the key is using niobium alloys for their high temperature tolerance and corrosion resistance in very demanding environments. So their strategies emphasize safe operations, sustainability, strict compliance with regulations, and ensuring energy supply reliability.
So very different strategic priorities depending on the application focus. Does the report use any standard frameworks to analyze competition?
Yes, they mention employing tools like SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats for individual companies. They give examples like identifying strategic acquisitions or expansion into emerging markets as opportunities for certain players.
Standard business analysis tools.
Yeah.
What about overall market rivalry?
They also use Porter's 5 Forces framework. And their analysis using Porter indicates different levels of competition across sectors.
Like how?
For example, competition is rated as high in aerospace. In automotive, it's medium, but with a higher threat from substitute materials. And interestingly, in the nuclear sector, competition is currently low, but the sector is growing fast.
That paints a really clear picture. High stakes in aerospace, substitution risk in auto, and maybe more room to maneuver in nuclear for now. Okay, we've covered incredibly specific stuff here. Market numbers, growth rates, niche alloys, regional trends, company strategies. How does DataString Consulting actually get this level of detail? Their methodology must be pretty robust for such a specialized market.
Absolutely. And understanding their methodology is key to appreciating the value of this analysis. DataString Consulting uses a pretty sophisticated approach designed precisely for complex markets like this.
So what's involved? How do they do it?
Well, they start by using both top-down and bottom-up approaches. They look at the overall market picture from the top, but then they validate and refine that by building up estimates from individual segments, companies, applications from the bottom.
Checking the macro against the micro, essentially.
Exactly. They also rely heavily on data triangulation. That means cross-referencing information from multiple independent sources to verify findings and build a more reliable, complete picture. It's about not relying on just one data point.
Standard good practice. Do they mention any unique techniques they use?
Yes, this is where their expertise really comes through. They talk about using a concept they call directional superposition.
Directional superposition. What's that?
Instead of just averaging data, think of it like layering multiple validated data sources simultaneously. Like stacking transparent maps, each map shows something different. But when overlaid, subtle patterns, niche trends, or connections might emerge that weren't obvious from any single source alone. It helps them uncover those harder-to-spot dynamics.
That sounds powerful for finding hidden trends in a fast-moving tech market. How do they get direct input from people actually in the market?
That's a huge part of it. They conduct extensive market surveys and, crucially, primary interviews. They talk directly to C-level executives, key opinion leaders, technical experts right across the ecosystem.
So manufacturers, end users, suppliers.
Everyone. Manufacturers, service providers, end users, suppliers, even companies offering potential alternatives. This direct interaction helps them triangulate actual sales data, understand purchasing decisions, and gather those vital qualitative insights you don't get from stats alone.
Getting the story behind the numbers, what about published data, official sources?
They have a rigorous process for database creation and updation. They build their knowledge base using a wide range of inputs. Export-import statistics, country-level production and consumption data, information from industry associations and regulatory bodies, company filings like annual reports, press releases, investor presentations.
A lot of sources?
Yes, and they also utilize paid, proprietary databases. Their explicit list of sources includes annual and quarterly reports, press releases, investor presentation transcripts, data from ministries and industry associations, those expert interviews, and their own internal data string analysis.
So it's this blend: primary research, deep secondary data collection, sophisticated analysis techniques like directional superposition.
Exactly. It's that meticulous, multifaceted approach that allows data string consulting to produce the kind of deep, reliable market intelligence we've been discussing.
It definitely underscores the value of having expert analysis grounded in solid methodology when you're trying to understand a complex niche market. Okay, let's pull it all together then. What are the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive into DataString Consulting's Niobium Alloy Market report?
I think the main message is undeniable. The niobium alloy market, while specialized, is set for really significant rapid growth over the coming decade. We're talking high double-digit CAGR.
And this growth isn't just happening, it's being actively pulled forward by very specific needs in demanding high-tech areas: aerospace, automotive needing lighter, stronger parts, medical needing biocompatible materials, energy needing heat and corrosion resistance, electronics needing superconductivity.
But, and this is the crucial tension DataString highlights, that huge potential runs up against some serious challenges. Primarily, the high production cost and, maybe more critically, the limited, geographically concentrated supply of raw niobium. That's the major headwind.
And DataString's analysis gives us the map to navigate this, breaking it down by industry, by specific product types like niobium zirconium, seeing regional surges, by application like the growing medical field, and showing where the regional hotspots are.
It also lays out that dynamic competitive landscape, showing where the rivalry is intense, like aerospace, and where it might be less so, but growing, like nuclear, and how different players are tailoring their strategies.
It really demonstrates why having this kind of detailed expert analysis built on a robust methodology like DataString's using triangulation and directional superposition is so valuable. It cuts through complexity.
It gives you that data-driven view of both the huge opportunities and the very real risks involved.
So, building on that central tension, DataString identified the growth potential versus the supply constraint. Here's a final thought for you to consider. How might a major geopolitical event affecting Brazil or Canada, or perhaps a technological breakthrough that significantly reduces the amount of niobium needed in alloys, or even the discovery of large, new niobium deposits elsewhere? How might any of those things fundamentally reshape the competitive dynamics and growth trajectory outlined in this report?
What new opportunities could that create? Or what new risks for the established players?
It's a reminder that even the best analysis provides a snapshot, and the future can always bring surprises that shift the landscape.
Definitely something to think about.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive into the niobium alloy market based on the insights from DataString Consulting. Thanks for joining us.